Get ready to tune in, turn back the dial, and rediscover the airwaves of yesteryear. This is Echoes from the Past, your backstage pass to the shows that changed everything.
Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Echoes from the Past, where we dive into the timeless hilarity of the Burns and Allen Show. Today, we're going to explore some of their most cherished holiday-themed episodes, ones that really captured the spirit of festive joy and wrapped it up in sharp comedy. You know, Burns and Allen had a special knack for making holidays feel magical, yet hilariously imperfect at the same time. Take the 1940 Christmas Show episode, for instance. It was filled with Gracie's wild antics as she tried to organize the holiday in her wonderfully unpredictable way. Families gathered round their radios were treated to this lively mix of mischief and sentimentality, and it kind of brought everyone a little closer, didn't it? And then there's the classic Santa and the Wicked Pirate. Now this one, it was clever. Picture this, Gracie concocting a story about a pirate somehow tied to Christmas. It's a great example of their ability to take the most absurd setups and weave them into laugh-out-loud routines. I mean, the absurdity was exactly why audiences loved them so much. It was like they offered a break from reality, wrapped in holiday cheer. When I was a kid, my parents introduced me to my first Burns and Allen Christmas special. It was a snowy evening, and we were sitting by the tree with the lights twinkling. One of those perfect holiday moments, you know? I remember hearing Gracie's voice for the first time and just cracking up. Her timing, her delivery, it was all so spot on, and it left such an impression on me. To this day, there's nothing like that mix of humor and warmth to get me in the holiday spirit. It's fascinating how these shows have stayed universally funny over generations. I think it's because of the way they tapped into relatable holiday scenes. Family chaos, well-meaning but misguided plans, and above all, the drive to make those moments joyful, even if they didn't go according to plan. All right, so let's pivot to another cornerstone of what made the Burns and Allen Show so special: their ability to shine a spotlight on some truly iconic guest stars. I mean, their guest roster reads like a who's who of entertainment back in the day, like William Bendix, Eddie Cantor, even John Garfield. Now, these weren't just random cameos or one-off gags. These appearances were often woven into the fabric of the show in a way that elevated the humor to, well, a whole new level. Kind of like how you'd sprinkle just the right seasoning into a dish. It was subtle, yet transformative, you know? Eddie Cantor's contribution, for instance, really stood out to me. His comedic style meshed so effortlessly with Gracie's unconventional wit. There's one episode where Eddie finds himself tangled in Gracie's bizarre, yet oddly logical schemes. It was pure comedic gold. You could tell they were having fun because their chemistry was so seamless. What's really fascinating to think about is how these celebrated stars brought a different dynamic to the episodes. The Burns and Allen duo had this amazing comedic rhythm, almost like a well-rehearsed melody, and the guest stars would come in and throw in an unexpected riff. It just worked. And the audience? They loved it. These moments were like little comedic fireworks, keeping the show fresh and exciting. And honestly, it's not every day you get someone like John Garfield showing off his comedic chops when his usual roles leaned more dramatic. But here's the thing. The magic of Burns and Allen lay in their ability to pull that side out of their guests, while still giving them the space to shine on their own terms. That balance? It's a huge part of what made their star-studded episodes so memorable. Now, the appeal of these episodes wasn't just in the comedy. It was also in the fact that they felt, well, like a meeting of old friends. Listeners knew and loved these guest stars from their movies or other performances, and seeing them banter and blend with George and Gracie was always a delight. You know, one of the things that's so remarkable about the Burns and Allen Show is how it could take a topic like history, or even culture, and make it feel not just entertaining, but accessible. It was almost like a sneak attack on education, wrapped up in comedy. Take their episode, Landing of the Indians at Plymouth Rock. Now imagine this, a playful and slightly exaggerated reenactment of early American history with Gracie, just running circles around facts and figures. It was funny, sure, but it also made you think, made you curious even. And for younger listeners at the time, what better way to get a little history lesson than with a good laugh sprinkled in? Then there's South Pacific. That one wove in themes of adventure and culture, creating these vivid, almost larger-than-life depictions of places beyond the imagination for many people at the time. It's something Burns and Allen did so well, using humor to make unfamiliar topics feel familiar, bringing the world into your living room with their signature charm. I think back to when I first heard these episodes, just a kid enthralled by history lessons at school. The Burns and Allen Show? Yeah, that became this fun extracurricular for me. I'd sit there listening to Gracie's wildly inaccurate take on historical events, and somehow it made me want to go look things up, learn more on my own. That's the beauty of it, how they captured these key cultural and historical ideas and made them not only digestible, but so wildly entertaining. It's honestly hard to find anything quite like it today. They found this sweet spot between making you laugh and making you think. And that's really what sticks with me about the Burns and Allen Show. Sure, they made us laugh, but they also opened doors to curiosity and connection, reaching audiences in a way that few others have matched before or after them. And on that note, it's time to wrap up this episode of Echoes from the Past. Thanks so much for being part of this little journey through the golden age of radio and the brilliance of Burns and Allen. Until next time, take care and keep those echoes alive.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the airwaves of the past. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the classic radio shows that shaped generations and left a lasting legacy. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode of Echoes from the Past. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to share it with fellow fans of history, storytelling, and vintage radio magic. Until next time, keep your dial set to the golden era and let the echoes of the past remind us of the timeless power of radio.